luxury hotel where they had a special reception. And here's a shot of the palace itself. And this is on the other side of the lake, and they had a special industry reception for all the industry people, and the provincial head of the Communist Party personally invited me to this reception. And you go inside the area, and here's what it's like inside. It's all the industries. This is just an industry-only event. Mm-hmm. You know, here's Miss Chen and Bella here. And you can't quite see it. You might see the soda cans behind her. Think of a room about this size, and think of a big U just filled with food. Just filled with it. And they also had like these goldfish swimming around, like in a little urn. And so Miss Chen's there, and she comes to, oh, Mr. Kevin, you know, I want to give you an authentic Chinese tea experience. I said, well, Miss Chen, I mean, look, I'm in Chairman Mao's palace. I had fish swimming in a thing. I go, no, Kevin, we're going to give you an authentic Chinese tea experience. And we went out to another place where this woman was making little clay figurines here on pottery with her family. It's a little dark on these photos. It's a better shot. These are some of the photos she made. We went to this beautiful tea house, and they served us tea like this. And they also had a wonderful buffet as well. Because they didn't really eat any of the food at the reception, so we went to this place and we ate a lot of food. Now, let's sort of briefly talk about English. I mentioned before, English is very prevalent in China. You have Chinese, Japanese, English, and Korean. These are some of the entrances to the pagodas and temples around the city. One of the things they're very adamant, all the street signs had English names on them in small type up below the large Chinese type. And it was interesting too, on a lot of the TV stations you would hear these commercials. You're walking along, you would hear a TV in the background, it would be, you hear Chinese, and all of a sudden you hear this voice that said, do you want to understand what I am saying? Would you like to learn English? It was an actual ad for an English sign. But this gives you an idea of like how the signs sort of work in China. They're very adamant about bringing foreigners in. They want foreigners in, they want them to feel welcome. Here's some of the Buddhist statues that were carved into some of the sides. So I went on a day for sightseeing. These are almost like 500 years old in Hangzhou. And this is sort of like the steps. Now, one thing that was interesting about this is that here we have railings, we have OSHA to make sure everything's safe. There's no railing here, and it's really slippery. And if you're not careful, you'd fall to your death. I'm like stumbling around, not going like fast. And Bella, my translator, is like running with a little hamster. Like you're just running around. You're, Kevin, come on, can't you keep up? Go faster. I'm like, Bella, you're gonna fall to your death. Oh, don't worry about it. And like it's like really slippery too because it just rained. This is a Buddhist statue that was inside, that was created about 500 years ago inside one of the pagodas. This is like 30 feet tall. And here's another one of the pagodas on the West Lake, walking around. This is the actual pagoda itself. Now, the original pagoda that was built on this site was built in 900 AD, but collapsed in 1920. And they built this sort of new modern pagoda above it. And I went up here, and I got this shot. And I like this shot because this kind of really helps encapsulate what's going on in China right now. Because the economy is growing so fast, but they want to preserve the area of the West Lake. They created sort of this green belt around the lake, and the city has grown around the green belt. And this shot kind of shows you how it all works. Here's by the lake, and as you can see, they're all lining up for the big water show. Now, during this time, I went to get a drink of water. All of a sudden, I hear this little voice come up to me and say, hello. And I look down, there's just like this little kid. He's grinning at me. And he runs back to his parents and says, like, you're going over there. And I come over, I introduce myself. It was interesting because in China, like here, we tell kids don't talk to strangers. In China, it's like, oh yeah, there's a stranger, go ahead and talk to him. I mean, it was just weird, it was just kidding. He knew I was a foreigner, and he figured, he said hello in English. He was smiling, and when he realized I understood, I went to him and went, ni hao, which means hello. And I said, wo shi Kevin, which roughly translates as I am Kevin. And he runs back to his parents, I met his parents. Whatnot, very fun time. Now, yeah, see Dairy Queen. Everyone wants to ask me, is there Western food in China? The answer is yes. Dairy Queen's there, McDonald's is there, Burger King is there, but two things the Chinese love. Kentucky Fried Chicken. As on one major street corner. On one corner is a Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was packed. On the opposite corner is Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it was packed. But if you ever want to go on a date in China and want to impress your date, you take them to Pizza Hut. And all the Chinese, the whole GDQ staff is, Kevin, what are the Pizza Huts like in America? I'm like, yeah. You know, that's so grown. I'm like, and you're like, no, you don't understand. Like, maybe we go to the Pizza Huts and like pick up our pizzas and go back home and eat them. But really? Because like in China, Pizza Hut's like the big upscale restaurant you go out to. Like they're really nice inside too. I'm like, why aren't they as good as this like in America? And they were so like sad, like the Pizza Huts in America just like aren't there.
Not all restaurants in China are Pizza Hut.
Yeah, no, they aren't Pizza Huts now. But this is sort of, I took the shot because right after I took the shot, about 10 minutes later, they turn off the lights. They're lighting up the hills. They turned off all these lights and you're kind of plunged into darkness. It was sort of interesting too because you're walking around and it's completely pitch black. Now here we have cat ears. In China, they have devil horns and they light up. So imagine they turn off the lights, you're in pitch blackness, you're walking down the street, and all of a sudden you see these glowing devil horns coming towards you. So that was kind of interesting. So it's time to get ready to go, back to America. The convention's all wrapping up. We go back to the airport, and now this is the customs checkpoint. I got to fly back to Hong Kong, then fly back to America. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of if you consider the flight from Hangzhou to Hong Kong an international flight, Hong Kong's a special administrative region of China now, and they consider it an international flight. So sadly, Bella, Miss Chen, and the GDQH staff could not go beyond this checkpoint. I'm there at the convention. I'm there with them. And I filled out my forms, and like Miss Chen's a little upset. She's like, you can see a tear rolling down her face. Oh, Miss Chen, you can't cry. There's no crying in anime. She laughs. And there's Bella, my translator, and she's really like trying not to cry. I go, Bella, what's wrong? I'm like, I think I must have done something wrong, or that. She goes, oh no, Mr. Kevin, you were so fun, you were so nice, I really enjoyed having you. I mean, you were always so friendly to everybody, I really liked being with you, I'm gonna miss you so much. And she's really starting to cry. And you can't see it, but there's two soldiers standing like this. You can just tell they're watching you too. Oh, this woman is crying. I'm like, I gotta figure out some way to defuse the situation. So I go, Bella, look, okay, I don't want you to cry. I really enjoyed being out here. One of these days I'll come back and we'll have a wonderful time, back in China again. But I go, I want you to do two things while I'm gone. She goes, look, I'll do anything, Kevin. Great. Here's what I want you to do. While I'm away, I want you to do two things. I want you to be perky while you schmooze. And Bella just loses it. And she starts crying. She goes, oh my God, I love her. I miss her so much. And then you just see the soldiers there stay like this. It's time the foreigner goes now. Yeah, guys, he's making our women cry. So I go through the checkpoint, check in, all this other stuff. Now, there's this gift shop here. Okay, with pandas. This is as close as I ever got to a panda in China. Okay, but after I took this photo, she turned around, 5 other people came out and said, no photos, no photos, no photos. So taking photos of the army is okay, taking photos of power plants are okay, taking photos of people are okay, but you take a photo of a stuffed animal panda in a China airport, it's not okay. So, not wanting to irk anyone else, I wander over to the gift shop. And I meet this girl right here. She's one of the waitresses. And she starts talking to me in English. She says, oh, what are you doing here? I go, well, I'm here for the CICAF conference. Oh, really? Well,